One thing that drove me bananas when I first started using KCD was if I placed a note, I could never find it again. Meaning I couldn't get back into it. I couldn't move it. I didn't understand it, but I understand it now. So I'll just move these out of the way, these little lights. So currently I've got a text box, but if I want to go into it, it doesn't quite work. I click on it, but it's not letting me get back in. There's a trick to this. I'm going to place this box around it, but pretend like your notes have a box around it. And I'm going to also show you how to, so this video is going to show you different notes, different options. So this all really ties in. You have your box note, but if you're trying to get back into your text, what you need to do is pretend like there is a box. Don't actually put the box. This is for illustration purposes only. But in the center of the box is how you get into whatever your text or your note options are. So if you draw a box, you would just go to the center of it. You can move it. Can't move it here. You can't move it here. You have to click and hold. And I used to click and hold anywhere that I was in my box trying to figure it out until I saw the grid. Ah, there it is. So now I have it. I can throw it away. Same thing with your text, okay? I can click and click and click, but I couldn't get in. I even would get out of my job and create a new one or delete this room. That's how much the box annoyed me. But once I figured out, you have to pretend like there's an invisible box and then click into it. That's where you can go in and make your changes. Okay, so couple things. I'll put these little guys back because they had purpose. Make my TV stand for this client beautiful, okay? Now this client wants something pretty specific. So I needed to notate quite a bit here. Let me take off all these unit numbers because, I mean, quite frankly, nobody cares. So two things. If I wanted to show the doors, I can show them and take them off. It's important to see where things are going to rest behind a door. When I'm designing, one of the things that I do is I place my, and I'm going to copy this and just show you. I'm going to copy my room and then show you a few things. Okay. All right. We don't need these, and I'm going to get rid of my units because they don't really matter at this point in this room. Okay. So right now, I have my outlets. When I design an outlet, I place a note box on top of it. And the reason why is, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So just remember we have 5 outlets on this wall. If I go back into my other room and I put my doors back on, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can only see where my outlets are because I always, and I learned the hard way, draw a rectangle around my light switch or my outlet. And I do that because once a unit is on top of it, you don't see it, which means if you design in front of it, like I have to do in this particular room, you're not going to see it where it is if I put a unit in front of it. So it's possible, like in this original case, there would have been a panel that rested right on this. This was slightly over. So the client's going to have to move this outlet, but you couldn't see it. So right now the outlet is directly behind this panel. But if I didn't put rectangles in front of or around them as I'm designing, I wouldn't see it unless I took off my doors. So that's the first thing. Rectangles are great for that. Rectangles are also great for just illustrating to the side what you need, what you want. So I needed to be very specific about this particular client. They want storage for their music and entertainment media. So I drew a box and then I put a line in it. So you draw a box, you could place a line for the divider and then, do the math on it. Hey, I needed this dimension and so on. And again, in the middle of your note box or line to erase it. One thing that I use my circle or my oval for is to show a placement of where somebody might have to stand. Now, there are instances where we have a walk-in closet. And it might just be one of those wonky spaces, pretty tight, but they want a set of drawers. And that's okay. I'm not adding the door in here just for this particular purpose. We might have a set of drawers here. But I'm trying to explain to a client that this isn't a great place for it because there's not enough space. So I might say, well, Mrs. Client, this is 16 deep, so I'm going to assume your drawer at 100% opening extension is going to open approximately 16 inches as well. So your drawer is going to open here, which means you'll need to stand about here so that you can open your drawer and get into it. That means your door swing or however the layout might be is not going to work, or it's not the best use of the space. Maybe this would be better placed here so you could stand over here. So now the door could open and you still have your drawers. And maybe we just, if there's enough space, we do hanging and then a corner unit or hanging here and then whatever. But you can show. That's what I use the circle for. Sometimes I might point out that something is not going to work. Like they might want a shelf unit and hanging is going to hang in front of it slightly. So it might be something like this. The client has to have 24 inches exterior dimension, outside dimension. I might try to just point this out and say, hey, clothing will extend, into the side of the shelf unit. And this I may have the client sign just to make sure they're clear. We went over this. Maybe we don't recommend this. Maybe I put on there, design not recommended due to the clothing extending, not having enough depth from the back wall to be free and clear of any obstructions. But I might just use this circle to point that out. Also, the arrow it starts where you need to make a notation, and where you end is where the arrow pointer is. So I think I covered the notes. You have your text note. You can make your background transparent. You can change your background. Maybe I want to be pretty clear, don't do this. Oh, sugar. I can change my font. I can do an underline, a strike through. bold. Maybe I want it 72 inches. Sometimes you might have notes for your engineer that's not needed for your client. So you can take them off if you're just presenting something to somebody.